Yeah, that's your name.
Squirrels got me.
Big Jim.
Yeah.
Really, 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 really cold and fun.
Cold and fun.
Cold and fun.
That's good that you think that of it, because that's what deer hunting typically is cold and fun.
Yesterday morning, I'm glassing up on the pass, and I see these deer moving, and I'm like, ooh, there's deer moving. All of a sudden, I just see this person just head down, just hauling ass, wearing shorts and a t-shirt with a pack on. And I'm like, is that Tard? My dad always talks about floating through the woods like the autumn breeze.
So Robert's
when you're
the ghost,
275 pounds, I don't know how you do that, but
the Freightliner. It's just like a creeper. You're just kind of up in the corner watching what's going on down there.
Yeah.
You know.
He's like,
he's up there slapping, pissing all over everything.
Is it warm yet?
How did you know the name of the actor?
That's I know.
Why did you say his name?
Hervé Villechaize.
You know what pert near means.
If you know what pert near means and you live in America, you're a redneck too.
Welcome to the Log Talk Podcast, brought to you by Pert Near Outdoors. All right, folks, welcome to this week's episode of the Pert Near Outdoors Podcast. This is Big Jim and I are going to jump on and have a chat about turkey season, turkey hunting coming up here this weekend. Season's about to start, and it's hard to believe that the winter has passed us, and hard to believe, too, that we had 3-4 inches of snow here today out in Wyoming County, and it's still on the ground as I sit here at 10 o'clock at night. Pretty wild, but we'll be chasing longbeards on Sunday, so enjoy the chat. We had some fun discussion about our trip we had last week, and then got into some turkey talk. So thanks for listening. Have a great weekend. Be safe out there, and keep feeding them. Big Jim.
Yep.
What's up, buddy?
Living the dream.
Was that right?
Yeah. They say nightmares are dreams too, right?
Well, yeah, all things that happen in your nighttime are somebody's dreams.
Mm-hmm.
What I say. But who knows? I mean, who's the one that makes those decisions? I don't know.
It's in the eyes of the beholder, you know.
I think that's correct. I'm just getting the. Oh, hold on. I gotta go plug the computer in. I just realized I never hooked that up. Hold on a second.
Rookie mistake.
Yeah. All right.
You know.
Okay. We're rocking and rolling here. I'm getting a little feedback. I don't know if that's coming from your speakers or what do you got going on?
I just had for a second. I popped open the Facebook Live and then muted it.
Oh, okay.
Is it all right now?
Yeah, that's fine. No, it sounds good. So, all right. We're gonna try to stay on a little bit of our normal programming here. We missed a couple Wednesdays in a row, and or maybe one Wednesday. I don't know. Life's a blur. So figured it'd be good to get you and I together. It's really, really hard to believe that this weekend's opening of turkey season here in New York. It's a bit of a shocker. So figure we get on here, talk a little turkey hunting, maybe talk a little life, talk a little vacation, how all that went with the kids, and maybe some lessons learned, things that we might have come to terms with. I think that's relatable to people. So first and foremost, how you doing? It's hump day. You're basically three quarters through the week. How you feeling?
I'm feeling like I almost got my 40 in, and I might just call it a week.
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah, I was pretty shocked when you said you didn't get home till 7 o'clock the other night. That's a long ass day.
Yeah. Being out for a week, I had a couple of loops that pretty much everybody in my loop needed something. So, I don't know. I got 35 already or something, but that's played out to make it so the next couple of days aren't so bad. So
yeah,
it's kind of expected once you come back from a vacation that you're going to have to hustle to catch back up. So
it is. I came back this week and I had scheduled to have Scott, one of the guys from the parts call center, ride along with me for 3 days. We've been trying to do this for 2 years and finally getting the green light to start doing some of this stuff. And I didn't even think about the fact that it would be my first 3 days back from a week off of vacation. And it's like, you know, my email inbox is jammed up. I tried to stay up with stuff the week we were off, but it's like you really can't handle anything. I didn't bring my computer with me or nothing. So this whole week I've just been like stressing about trying to, you know, I gotta catch up on my emails, but I got tomorrow and Friday to try to get back in my normal routine. So
The funny part was, you know, customers call me directly. So like I'm grabbing phone calls while we're hanging around day drinking and
yeah, right.
like, you know, good conversation, not like I was plastered or nothing, but you know, you don't have nothing to write anything down on or
No.
so you're just like in your head, you're like, yeah, I remember this. And then this week, like somebody calls and it's like, oh yeah, they called me last week.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's the cool part though. Once you get to the point, like, and I think it was an eye opener for Scott riding with me the last 3 days. Like, he's like, man, he goes like, how you know these customers like really well. It's like, you know, I walk in and we're just like busting chops immediately. They're picking on me, I'm picking on them, and it's like it's the best. I don't think when you bring somebody along with you to like see what you do every day, they're like, oh wow, like this is your job. It's like, yeah, this is pretty outstanding. Like all of our customers are great. I mean, there's a couple thorns out there, but for the most part, what we do every day is just incredible. Whether it's you wrenching or me trying to just solve problems and help, you know, fix their issues or find a good solution for a vehicle for them, whatever. It's a really fun gig. We got a good group of people we work with.
Yeah, I definitely enjoy it.
Today I went. What were you gonna say?
I was just saying it makes it a lot more enjoyable when you can, you know, not be in a spot where it's like uncomfortable at work.
Yeah.
You know, you get good with all these guys and it's just like normal routine. It's not like, oh, what do I got to do here or there? It's just, you know, you'll work it out with them one way or another. So
yeah, it's going to hang out with your buddies. Essentially, that's what it gets to.
Yeah.
You've been doing it for a couple of years. You get to know these people so well. You know their families and everything else, and you know everything that's going on. I went to a highway superintendent's like trade show, which I thought it was just like going to be a small thing. It ended up being this like huge trade show at the town of Ogden, and I went because Regional International was going to have their EV, their EMV truck, which the MV is with the same chassis that we're going to be running on the bus. So that was pretty damn cool to Jim wants to know how we have time to breed them. We'll get into that in just a moment, Jim. That's a touchy subject. That's a separate podcast, but we can make it part of this one. It is turkey season, so it is breeding season.
Breeding them.
But it was really cool. Like,
hold on,
separate podcast.
Oh,
I messed up bad.
It's all right. You're okay. Rookie mistake.
All right.
So it was really cool to see the truck and see because on the truck comparative to the bus, you don't have any side skirts, you don't have anything. So like everything is very exposed and you can see it all. Like in that truck was actually like purpose built. Like the only one I've ever seen electric school bus that was like basically a Frankenstein. They took a gas bus and they retrofitted it to electric. So this thing was like,
right. Yeah. I mean, it's not finished product.
Yeah. This thing was fit and finished. Like it's a beautiful piece of equipment. So I don't know, as scary as the whole idea is, it's going to be pretty interesting to see some of these school buses start coming through like that. It'll be a little while, but the technology looks pretty incredible, and they've done a really nice job.
I think we talked about it on vacation. if it wasn't you, I was telling Mike, but I had that reservation for the Ford Lightning.
Yeah.
And I reserved it during turkey season last year. I think sitting up against a tree, it came out, and I was like, oh, I'm just going to reserve it now. You can get your money back if you don't want it. So it came up a couple of weeks ago to order it. And I go into the order screen, and they're running like the same price as the trucks are now. So like your XL is like 40, and then your XLT is like 50. And I wanted the XLT one, and it was 50 until you clicked on the extended battery life, and then that made it $75,000.
Right.
And I'm like, so when these things go bad, who's that falling on? Because if that's like part of the battery system, the entire battery system has got to be what, $75,000?
Yeah. But you can
$60,000.
I can just speak for the school bus. I mean, you have like 3 banks of batteries, and if one battery in that bank of batteries goes bad, you can't like replace that one battery. You have to replace the whole bank. And
That's what I was thinking.
Nobody really has a clear answer, but I can just tell you that like on a bus, if somebody wants to add an extra string of batteries, it's $50,000. Like that's a lot of money.
I mean, it makes sense. It was 25 on a truck,
right?
Like a personal truck. So
right.
I don't know. For me, I was like, I'm gonna spend $75,000 on a vehicle. It's gonna be a Denali or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, let them get out for a few years. They'll work some of the kinks out. The pricing will come down a little bit, and
well, that's the other thing is doing what I do. I know first year product is gonna have issues. So
yeah, no, yeah, it's asking for problems. So that was a very interesting thing to see today. So I'm sure there'll be a lot more of that stuff coming down the pipe to take a peek at. But yeah. So what was your thoughts of your first family vacation? Going with the kids and then having all of our kids around. That was pretty cool.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
It was.
It's just it makes it tough because you have to be like routine. And any vacation that we've ever gone on is just like we go do what we want to do. So, it's funny because like Donnie and Rachel were like gone before we got up, and then they were back and their kid was sleeping by the time we were ready to go do something. And then,
right.
Our kid would be sleeping all afternoon and you guys would be looking for something to do. And so, yeah, it was definitely a little different, but I think we were starting to figure it out by the end on how to like what our timing needed to be to do stuff together. But, then it was time to come home. So
yeah,
it was a lot of fun though.
It was fun. It was fun seeing the kids by the end of the week starting to warm up to each other, and like all of them, like Kate is very, like, she's been very aggressive to Eli, which is, my brother-in-law Donnie's son. And finally, towards the end of the week, like they were playing really well together, and it was hilarious at one point. I don't know if you saw it or not. When they were slapping their bellies, they pulled their shirts up and they're slapping their bellies to each other. Like what the hell is this? That was like unprompted. Like they just did that on their own. But that was like their bonding moment.
If Jay would have actually saw that, he probably would have joined in with them because he does the belly thing all the time. It's hilarious.
It is hilarious. Freaking kids.
But like, yeah, Jay went over to Kate on the couch when we were leaving and like said goodbye.
Yeah.
And like, anytime prior to that, Kate's like taking swings at him anytime he comes close. So it's like, it's just funny to watch it all turn around.
It is funny. Yeah. Hopefully that's the start of a trend of many trips like that and doing things. It's
it was a lot of fun.
It's good stuff. It's hard. I mean, I don't know. We've done several vacations now, but that was the first one we've driven. We flew to Colorado with Billy when he was 1, and so he was pretty easy to control. But at that point, he was wicked crazy with all the allergies, and Sarah was like freaking, dude. That was chaotic. Sarah's like Lysoling every freaking every seat we sat in. That was not fun. But the holy shit! I told you what happened. Did I tell you what happened at Bass Pro on the way home?
No, but I heard you had a Lysol Dad's truck out.
Oh, well, yeah. So the trip down wasn't bad. So the trip down, we drove overnight. We left here at 7 a.m. and literally, like, we didn't stop. Like, the only time we stopped was to get fuel and then switch drivers. Sarah drove for a few hours in the middle of the night, and we landed there at like 6:30 in the morning. So there was a few points where the kids woke up while we were driving and they were like crying, and we'd work them back to sleep, and we got through the night. Like we finished the drive. We woke up at 6:30. The kids woke up and we were in Asheville. So we were there. But then the way home, we thought we would wake up at like 1:30 and then get on the road. And it was clear sailing. Like both kids were perfect.
Oh, yeah.
They slept all the way, and we were somewhere maybe just getting into West Virginia, and the sun kind of started coming up. Both the kids woke up. They woke up nicely. I'm like, this is unbelievable. I'm like, we're nailing it. Like, we're killing it. I didn't say anything. And we were, I don't know what, it was maybe like 7:45, 8 o'clock, somewhere in there. Cabela's Bass Pro didn't open up in Morgantown until 9. So we stopped and got gas, and we got back on the road, and Kate was sitting in the back seat. Sarah was sitting in the middle. Well, obviously Kate was in the back. Sarah was in the middle with them, and Billy was in the other side. And Kate was watching Sarah's phone, and Billy was watching the tablet. And Kate was like pounding milk, And I don't know if she got like motion sickness or something, but out of the blue, all of a sudden she just starts throwing up the milk that she had been drinking, and it's just curdled milk.
God.
And Sarah's like, oh my god, and like, and the truck's a disaster because you're freaking living in there with 4 people, you know. So she's like grabbing stuff, trying to catch the puke and everything. And so we get off at the next exit, and that was like 8 o'clock, and that started like an hour and a half of chaos. And I ended up getting in the back seat with Kate. We got her all cleaned up. We cleaned up the seat as much as we could, and we're on the road. Sarah's driving. We got like 25 minutes to get to Bass Pro, and Kate is just fucking screaming the whole time and like unconsolable, like asking for dad. And I'm like, I'm right here. Do you see my face? I'm like right in front of you. And she finally calms down. Like when we get to Bass Pro, we get out. Both kids are like fired up to like get out, and we were like running around. They're checking out the boats outside, climbing in them. Billy's like, "Oh, we're getting a new boat." I'm like, "We're not getting a new boat." And we go inside. They're like all excited because that was a big ass Bass Pro in Morgantown.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, like it's like probably twice the size of the Cabela's in Buffalo. And
I saw it at like 2 a.m.
Yeah, no, it's an impressive store. And we they're in there on the 4-wheelers, like they're just having a good time. They go to the fish tank. They're like they love going and looking at the fish in the tank. And we made a deal. We go, you get one toy. You get one, and that's what we did the whole trip. Like if we went in a store, they got one thing. It doesn't matter if it's a toy or whatever you pick out. So Billy first wants one of those like oversized stuffed like fish, whatever. And I hate those things. They're like, it's a waste of money. It's like $25, just a waste of money. And I like talk him out of that, and he picks out like a lure. I'm like, that's cool. I'm like, we'll take the hooks off it, and you can throw that in the pond and have fun with it, right? So I'm like, perfect. And we go down, we keep going through the fishing section, and Kate wants a fishing pole, so she gets a fishing pole. The next section after, as we're starting to walk towards the checkout line, the next section is the kids section. And what does Billy see? There's all these guns, all these like gun kits, you know, and there's Nerf guns, there's like cowboy Western setups, there's like replica like cap guns, like we bought them down there, and he sees this kit that's got a pistol, like exactly what I bought him in down in Brevard, and then a gun just like what I bought him like 2 weeks ago at Avon Gun Shop, like a little toy gun with no trigger, and all it had that he didn't have was handcuffs. And I'm like, Bill, I'm not spending $30 on that for a set of handcuffs that are plastic shit that's gonna just get thrown away. I'm not buying that. And all he knew in his little head was that we told him he could have one toy, whatever he wanted. And so like this kind of starts building, and all of a sudden, in just a matter of like 2 minutes, he is like full on meltdown, like literally like murder screaming in there, flopping around on the floor, you know. So I'm like picking him up, like trying to control him, like, please just calm down, let's talk this out, you know. And we're in the middle of the store, and it's a 2-story store, and I swear to God, Jim, like you could hear him in every corner of that store screaming, like uncontrollable. And this girl comes up that must have been working one of the cash registers or something. She's got suckers. She got 3 suckers, and she comes up like she's gonna help, you know. She goes to hand the suckers, and Billy like swats the sucker out of her hand, and she like gives this look, and she like turns and like just goes right back where she came from. Kate grabs the sucker, and she's like, sucker, and she starts. So I just bear hug Billy, and I just beeline it out of the store. And I'll never forget the look on the guy's face that was working, you know, like the guys that are trying to get you to do the Cabela's Club card. He's like, he just looks at me, and he's got this like wide open eye look at me, and I'm just like, I didn't even know what to say. And we just go right through the turnstile, like the little turnstile gate thing, right outside. And Billy, I mean, he gets worked up like this. Like if I set him down, he is going to just take off running somewhere, you know, and we're in a parking lot. So like, I'm like bear hugging him, like trying to just get somewhere private. And there's just like people out like looking. It's a beautiful morning. People are looking at boats. My son's just screaming.
Kidnapping the son of a bitch.
I know. That's probably what people thought. And we made quite a scene, and probably, you know, no one there will ever know who we were and why our son was freaking out, but it was so embarrassing. And then it was like an hour and a half before he calmed down. And, you know, by the time we got like north of Pittsburgh, he finally calmed down, and then he fell asleep for a little while. And then Kate woke up like 2 minutes later. So like we got like no break, you know, but we ended up getting home. It took us like, I don't know, like 14 hours to get home, and we were pretty shot, but holy shit. I mean, that was the worst part of the trip, was the traveling down and back. It's just, that's a grind with young kids, but that's my life story of driving with kids for 11 and a half hours in a vehicle.
Yeah, I mean, our turn was Jay on our hike. I mean, we go up there for that beautiful hike, and we took Jay out of bed, put him in the car seat, basically fed him breakfast in the car, and then out of the car seat and into the backpack, and then hiked the hill. And then we get up top and we let the kids out, and they're running around. And like, he's all right then, now that he's out and running around, he's satisfied. And then it was time to put him back in the backpack to go down the hill. And it was just like bloody murder. And, it just stresses you right out, because you're like, what do you want? Yeah, I mean, we know what he wanted. He wanted to be down running around.
Right.
But luckily, Donnie and Rachel had that toy car, and they're like, here, take this. And he like made car noises the rest of the way down the hill. But it was just like, that was our one, like, our kid just didn't want to do what we were doing sort of thing.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I think it gets to the point on these trips, exactly what you said, is that you start to realize that that these trips are not about you anymore. We still did a lot of adult things, and it went well. We went to a bunch of different breweries that were like very family friendly and stuff, but you just can't do a whole lot. You're going to go to a stream and think you're going to fish, and your kid's going to want to throw rocks for 2 hours, and you just embrace it. They had fun with it. So that's, at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
Yeah. I mean, on our way down, we took 2 days to do it. And we did a bunch of stuff along the way. So it wasn't bad. Kind of broke it up. But by the end of the week, I knew I was going home, and I didn't feel like getting home at 10 o'clock at night on Saturday night, and then dealing with a kid that's been sitting in a car all day. So I'm also not the one to go to bed and wake up in 3 hours and hit the road for 12. So I figured for me, it'd be better to just stay up. So we took off at like 8:15, and we had to stop for gas and ice. And when we took off, we didn't stop till after we went through the tunnels in West Virginia, and the tunnels woke Jay up with the lights going through there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, he's awake, I might as well get gas. So I got gas after that. And then I don't know exactly where we were in West Virginia. It was like 1:30 in the morning. I didn't really care, but I saw a gas station, so I pulled in, fueled up, and then took off again. And from there to Fredonia, I made it without stopping. And when I had to stop to get gas there, he woke up, and it was like 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. So we woke up, got him out, got him changed, put him back in. He wasn't too happy about that, but then we did the trash truck on the cell phone for 45 minutes while he was eating his Dunkin' Donuts, and he recovered for the rest of the trip.
Yeah.
We were home by 8:50, so we left at like 8:15. We were home at 8:50, so
that's pretty good. Then
we went and we unpacked, and then my father-in-law brought the dogs back, and we had gotten a 410 for Jay. Clearly, he won't be using it for a few more years, but we got a red dot for it, and we hadn't shot it yet. So we put the turkey choke in it and took it down to the farm and shot that and sighted it in. And I took a shot with my 12 gauge to make sure that's good for Mike. And that thing flipped the barrel right over, about cut the target in half. So
is you shooting TSS out of that too?
No, that's just the Winchester Longbeard XRs.
Yeah.
I don't think you really need TSS out of a 12 gauge unless you're shooting like 70.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, unless you're trying to snipe them, yeah. Yeah, Dallas said he got his gun set up. He's got a 20 gauge. He put an actual, like regular scope on it, and shot it. And I think he said 4 shots. He had it all sighted in, and with TSS, and he's excited to get out with that Saturday or Sunday.
So that's what I did last year. Is I set my 20 gauge up with I think it's a TSS choke tube, and then the TSS ammo. I put a red dot on mine. One of the only turkeys I've ever missed was when I was trying to use my 20 gauge back in the day with a scope on it, and I was watching the birds through the scope on the way in, and I thought they were close enough. And when I shot and took my eye off the scope, I realized they were still like 65 yards. So I really don't like using anything magnified
Yeah.
for turkey hunting. My father-in-law did it last year because his bird barrel was off. So he put a scope on to try to get it back into range. And I mean, for him, it was me watching the bird and telling him when to shoot. So that didn't really play a factor. But there's one thing for Dallas. It's be careful watching them through the scope on the way in, because that'll get you in a hurry.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll pass that on. I'll tell him. I'll give him some advice from Big Jim. He'll appreciate that.
Tell him be one with a TSS.
Yeah. Yeah, be one with a TSS. I like that. Be the bullet. Yeah.
Be the bullet.
Be the bullet. Be the beads. Be the beads. What are you drinking over there?
Oh, it's tequila.
Ooh, Big Jim's on the tequila train, huh?
A little margarita with tacos tonight.
Ooh, yeah, tacos. Little Taco Wednesday. I like it.
We missed Taco Tuesday.
Oh,
so we had to do it today.
Uncle Dallas is tuned in. He says, just send it. So
Yeah, just TSS is cheap. Give her a fly.
yeah, just give her a rip. Yeah, I'm so I want to go back to the question that Jim asked, how do you guys find time to breed them? Let's address that on vacation. I've learned very quickly that vacation with kids, there's zero breeding happening. You have all these ideas in mind about what a vacation is going to look like for you and your loved one. Nope. I can tell you for the last 3 big trips we've done. No, you better find some time with the old lady that is one-on-one. Kids are nowhere to be seen. Then you got a fair shot. But that's some father man advice. And if you got one out there that you can find the time to knock some boots, yell yee yee, I'll say you're a lucky man. But I'm just speaking from my side of the house. It's a battle over here. Well, as it comes on the other front, it's if you ain't. You don't score any of the goals. You're not shooting. So
miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
That's where I was going. So just keep shooting your shot, and you're bound to make one basket every once in a while.
Bound to happen.
Is that good advice, Jim? I feel like that's fairly sound advice.
Yeah, I mean, if you had a little bit more regimented nap time, you might be able to squeeze more activities in.
Yeah, I know. Okay, have a second child and see how that works for you. Because I can speak for my life situation is that if the kids are napping, she's napping, and if I'm trying to interrupt that, I'm about going to find myself sleeping on the couch. So, learn very quickly how that operation works. That's for sure.
We're not a big nap family over here quite yet.
No. Oh,
I tried to take a nap that day. I was driving home overnight, and I got maybe a half an hour, and I just couldn't do it.
Yeah. Oh shit, that's good stuff. So what are you thinking? What are you thinking about this upcoming weekend? I'll tell you. Okay, I'm going to ask you the question. I'll shut up. What are you thinking?
Let's hear it.
Okay, you want to hear what I got to say?
Well, I thought you were going to ask me a question.
Oh, I was going to ask you a question. My question was, what are you thinking? Are you feeling confident about the birds this weekend?
Not feeling very confident as of right now.
Weird, right? You've been
when
driving.
We were on vacation, my cameras were blowing up. Shit was strutting all over the place. And pretty much since like last Wednesday, it's been dead. I snuck out Tuesday morning, took a quick listen before I hit Avon school. I kicked 2 little birds out of a tree. I know they were little because I had them on trail camera going into there at night. And that's somewhat where they were roosting last year for us over there. And I wasn't hearing anything, so I started walking in through the trail in the woods. I was on the edge of the field in the dark, and as it started getting light out, I wasn't hearing anything, so I just started sneaking through the woods. And I kicked the 2 little ones off a roost, and I know which ones it was because they were right on camera going in there. So,
yeah.
But I did not hear it gobble, and I've made a couple loops the last few days, and I am not seeing them out in the fields. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I know they're there.
Right.
I just don't know which part of. Like, it's kind of chopped up over there as to what we hunt, and I don't really know. I talked to somebody the other day that said they heard them down behind the grain bins, and I'm like, I've never seen them down behind the grain bins. So,
right.
But I'm also not seeing them out in the other field, so maybe they are down there. I have no idea.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, I mean, where I was going to go with my statement is, I mean, I've probably driven, I don't know, 600 miles so far this week, 700 miles, and I've seen like 2 different flocks of birds. That's it. Not even really like random birds out and about. The only flock I saw today was in Brockport, right there on 531, between where is that field? It's it don't matter. Well, you know where the Bentley Brothers is, that Kubota tractor dealer, like the gas station there in the corner, and then it's kitty corner, and then there's a field there, and then you come up to Lowe's if you're heading
They got
into
good
Brockport.
pizza there.
At that gas station.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mechanics know. If anybody needs to know where there's a good slice of pizza, you just ask a mechanic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Shoot me a text.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, Ben. All right, I'm not sure exactly what he's saying, but he said his hen has 6
I don't know which
in her
hen
nest.
he's talking about.
Interesting, Ben. So you got some. I'm not sure what to read into that.
Did you get right up in there and count them out?
You been breeding them? You got some eggs in that hen, or what? That's interesting. We could
some National Geographic shit.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, what do you got a heat lamp on it or what? It's freaking cold out right now. So yeah, I just did not see a ton of birds out. It's just interesting. I mean, they're there, and we'll see them.
It's weird because like Monday I did see a bunch. Tuesday I went down Corning Way, and there was flipping birds all over the place in the fields down 390 and 86 down that way. So I don't know. I mean, it seems like they kind of go in shoots here.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're, in the rough weather, they hunker in a little more, and then the nicer weather, they're out. I mean, when I was getting pictures last week, it was gorgeous out.
Oh, yeah.
And then we kind of hit some weird weather there. I don't know if it just kind of kept them flocked up and they're not really as active right now, or.
Yeah. Like Dallas said, it's so hard to get turkeys on camera too. I mean, they could be 3 feet away the other direction, and you're not going to get pictures of them. But we got
some of the turkey pictures I had last week were because deer were standing in front of the camera and the turkeys were out behind them strutting further out in the field.
Right, exactly. Yeah, those are some cool pictures. It's been very exciting to see the turkeys hanging on our property at camp, because we really don't usually see that. So I'm interested to see what opening day is up there this year, as far as where that group of birds are hanging. And
I'm banking on the people that are there the day before opening day messing that whole thing up. And then following after opening day in the middle of the week, when we start getting pictures, I'll slip back down there some morning and finish them off.
Yeah. You know what? That's not a half bad idea. I should get maybe like a Wednesday or a Thursday when Audrey's watching the kids. I should, jet out of here early and just go to camp and then start my day working from down there, hunt for an hour and a half or something. And that'd be. I
mean, if the cameras are telling you they're roosting there, you might as well go hunt them.
Right. Yeah. So that's the first thing that came to mind is, seeing those birds hang right on our property. Our cabin's one level below that, and people are going to get there Saturday, be riding 4-wheelers around. It's going to foobar things up a little bit.
Yeah.
So I don't expect them to be there. So I'm not, I have no idea where I'm going to go. Jonesy's not sure if he's going to be hunting or not. He's got some stuff going on. So he's not sure if he's going to hunt. So I don't really know. And you're going to go to hunt with Mike, right? So
yep, that's the plan.
I'm not sure. I don't know. I might see if I might get a wild hare. I might try to climb to the top of the mountain on public, and start the day up there and see if I hear anything. It looks like it's gonna be a gorgeous morning. I mean, Saturday the weather looks good.
I mean, I also have this other farm over here that I've never turkey hunted it, but I've also never ran a cell cam over there all year round. And I left my camera up in my tree stand all winter, and I've just been getting pictures nonstop. And lo and behold, like 3 weeks ago, a flock of birds showed up, and that one's just been strutting in that corner. I could sit right in my tree stand and shoot them. So it's pretty tempting to maybe try that spot out too. But I know I've seen people in there in the past on camera turkey hunting. So that might be one of those deals where I need to feel out who else is in there first before I go running in there.
Yeah.
It's kind of an open farm. So
yeah, you don't want to burn a bridge or upset anybody,
No, I don't think I would do that. It's just more of running into somebody else and ruining your hunt.
Right.
Because there's not much to hunt there.
Yeah.
So
especially,
I'll let them work it out first and see what happens.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, let everybody get their fuzzies busted out in the first week or two, and then get out there after. And
I mean, that's the other thing with the farm where we hunt over here is typically we don't hunt there early. Typically we leave it alone for a week or two. And then everybody else around the area pressures them right into our little honey hole. And
yep.
they hang out there the rest of the season. And we just, go after them first light every day and then get out of there. And we hardly ever spook them. And, we might miss one here or there and educate them, but they seem to keep coming back. So I don't know. It's early over there yet. I mean, last year we did the youth hunt there.
Mm-hmm.
We came pretty close on the youth hunt. And then after that, it seemed like it kind of faded off again. And then it was like after the first week of season, we started getting back into them there. And there's also a couple places down the road that in the past have been really good, but I almost think it's the same thing. It's wait till people pressure them off of their pieces onto these other pieces, and then we can pick them up. So not really worried about not being on anything right now. I'm going to go out the next couple of nights and see if I can figure out where they're sleeping over there. Give us a little piece of knowledge on it, but they're there. Just a matter of being in the right spot at the right time.
Yeah, it is. And I'll tell you, I mean, last year for me was granted, I didn't really hunt much at all last year, but I'll tell you that podcast we were trying to connect with Tyler Breen to get him on here tonight, or to get him on before the start of season, but he's hunting, so it's hard to connect with some of these guys that are, hunting.
They've been going nonstop, and he's turning out videos as they film them. So, I mean,
right.
He's full bore right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've been really enjoying, there's a bunch of guys doing, what the hunting public, kind of made real popular with the whole like day by day deer and turkey hunting stuff throughout the season. And, so Tyler Breen here, we had him on, you had him on the show last year, right around this time, right before opening day at Turkey. And I've, he's the man behind Cartel Calls. And I don't know if people are supposed to know that or not, but he is. I mean, I don't know. Is he? I think people know that he's the one behind that. But listen to that podcast with him, and then watching. If people want to see some freaking kick-ass turkey hunting videos, I've never seen anything like it. The films that he puts out, the quality of the video, the audio, the detail, like, you just don't see it. I mean, it's unbelievable. No. Cartel Calls, you go on YouTube and search their channel and subscribe to it. I mean, unbelievable. Tyler's extremely talented behind the camera. And that podcast you did with him last year was a kind of a eye-opener for me. Like, I learned so much from that discussion.
I had no idea that was coming. Like, that was just one of those deals where, like, we started talking, and all of a sudden I was just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I was like, this kid there's a wealth of knowledge about turkey hunting.
Yeah.
And I mean, I used what I learned from that podcast I did with him last year during my season last year, and probably one of the best turkey seasons I've had.
Yeah. And same here. I mean, I actually relied on the blind a lot last year, and in the past was always like super paranoid about hunting with a blind. I'm like, well, I didn't set it up 2 weeks before season, and I don't want to booger him. And he was just like so matter of fact about it, where he's just like, you could literally stand up in the blind and walk across. And I've heard people say that, but I'm like, no, not our birds. But like, we literally did that. Like, I took Billy out, and Billy was in the blind with me, literally he was talking. I have video of, he's like talking, and a hen comes walking right into the decoy, and like totally unfazed by the fact that our blind is right there. We just set it up 20 minutes before, totally oblivious. And then I went out there a week later and shot that tom, and I never even called. I didn't have to do anything. I just set it up. I knew that was the area that they were coming through mid-morning. Just set it up, put a decoy out there, had a hen do her thing. I think I maybe clucked a few times, and that was it. But like, that's the stuff I took from that discussion, was like, don't overthink it. They're not that smart of a bird. They are smart, but they're not that smart. And the whole thing, the biggest thing I took from him was their visibility and their eyesight, and their ability to understand depth. That was a big piece for me. I don't know about you, but that was the one thing that really sunk in with me, as I was thinking about everything.
Yeah. I mean, I went right after the blind deal last year. I haven't done really any blind turkey hunting before. And I think it was the first day was snowy. We didn't use the blind that day. I went with the neighbors, and it was just no gobbling, no turkey action at all. And then the second day, I think I hunted from home and went to work. And then the third and fourth day, we went down, or no, it had to have been the second day because I did a blind setup with Adam over on his farm. And I was calling, and literally like a hen clucks and like brushes the side of the blind and walks out past the decoy and keeps going. And I'm like, what the fuck was that? I'm like, that was unbelievable. So we kept on seeing the gobbler coming out further down the field. So we went, I think it was like 2 days later, we went and we used like his little blind. He was like, that blind's too big and bulky. Let's just use this little thing. So he's in there on a tripod, and I'm in there in my chair, and I'm videotaping. And we had heard a bird down below us, and then like some clucks next to us. And we were right on the edge of the field, like in the center of the field. And the decoy was out in front of us. And I'm like, that was a cluck behind us. And then all of a sudden it clucked again. And it was like 5 yards off the blind. And then it steps into the field, and I'm like, oh, it's got a beard. And then the second one comes out. I'm like, oh, it's a Jake. And then all he heard was it has a beard. And the thing got out, and they started getting a little spooky because the blind was whipping around. Like this little blind, it was missing the top. So like the top was flappy, and the wind was whipping. It was kind of a shitty morning. And the birds started getting out past the decoy. I'm like, you better shoot. Well, he shot the Jake.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm like, no, the front bird. And he was like, oh, son of a bitch. So we get out there. It was a little Jake, but whatever. It was a fun hunt. And then I think it was the next day or 2 days after that, we were down the same farm, and we sat up right out in the middle of the field instead of going down to the edge of it. So we were smack dab out in the middle of the field with the decoys in front of us, and we're like, we'll just let him come to us. And he was gobbling off a roost, and he went sideways across the hill, and then he went down into the corner off of the property, and we were like, son of a bitch. And he would just gobble like every half an hour, and we were, like 10 o'clock, 10:30 out in the middle of the field, and he's still gobbling down there. And I was like, let's close the distance and get to the corner. So like we literally did that. We picked the blind up and like, got the chairs, dragging the chairs, like grabbing the decoys, and we're like all this shit across the field for like 300 yards, pop everything up in the corner, dive in it. And then the farmer pulls in, and we're like, are you freaking kidding me? And it's like 11 o'clock at this point, and we hadn't heard him again. And we're like, well, we'll just hang out for a little bit and see what happens. And we're literally sitting there like kind of down. And all of a sudden the bird steps out in the middle of the field, like where we just left. So that bird had finally broke to come to us, and we had left. So he popped out in the field, and he looked down the edge of the field, and he sees the decoy sitting in the corner. And he turned and just V-line straight for the decoy. We never picked up a call. He ran all the way in 20 yards and freaking piled him.
No kidding.
And I think that was the other bird from that previous morning. It was a nice long beard. It was a really nice bird. Adam had the whole thing on videotape. We were using a DSLR, and he switched it to camera from video without turning it off, and it corrupted the file. I mean, we had the whole thing perfect.
Oh, no.
But,
I remember that you had issues. I didn't know exactly how that happened, but
yeah. And then I did a state land hunt with my father-in-law on Mother's Day. I had a bird roosted, and I was like, we need to get here early because people know about this bird. He's right off the parking area.
Yeah.
So we got there at like 4 a.m, backed the truck right into the lower parking area, like 200 yards from the bird, popped the blind up at the truck, and walked it across the field and set it down like 60 yards, 70 yards from the corner where he was, and put the decoy out on the berm and got back in the blind. And like 20 minutes later, he gobbles, and he's like fucking right there.
He's right.
I mean, it was
you.
like, yeah. And he flew down and hit the field, and he was trying to find his hen, couldn't find his hen, and he came back, and then I started in on the slate call, and he just marched right into the decoy. But I'm like, we literally walked right up in the middle of that field with that bird, roosted 15 yards off the field, and just plopped that thing up, and away we went.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, that's the thing, right? I mean, so we've had blinds. It's not like this is a new thing to have a blind, but we've just been so cautious to use them. And, it's going to be my go-to. I mean, I still I'm gonna sit by a tree and just go out and plop down and run and
Yeah,
gun.
I mean, if you're running and gunning and trying to find birds, I mean, it's not realistic to carry a blind with you. But if you're gonna be hunting one block all morning or something, or you know where the birds are and you want to be out in the middle of the field, I mean, it's the ticket.
Yeah, it really is. And I bought a blind off Camo Fire end of last turkey season. I got it after the season was over, but we actually used it ice fishing this year. But it's a muddy blind, and it's a 360 view, so inside you can see everything. So I'm pretty excited to hunt out of that. I'm not gonna probably use the blind this weekend, but I'm gonna set that up at the farm, and I'm gonna take Billy out with me a few times because he just keeps talking about going hunting. So I'll take him with me and see. But like that's perfect. Like you can see everything, but they can't see in. So I'm excited to try that out. But that's the thing.
I'm actually sending the wife over to the Hunt Works tomorrow to pick up my ground blind.
Nice.
Because Adam left ours out over the winter and it didn't fare too well.
Where up on his property on the farm?
Yeah.
What a dickhead.
You know, you gotta support those things.
Jesus.
But it's whatever. It was an old blind. We haven't used it in a while.
Is that the same? Is that one of those Field and Stream ones like mine?
It was an Ameristep.
Oh, okay.
It was a nice one, but you know, it's whatever. Just throw some money at it.
It'll fix your problem. Yeah.
But so yeah, I talked to the Donegans, and they're gonna have a blind there. And I was like, I got a new slogan for you guys. It's so easy you can have your wife pick it up.
There you go. I think that's a good one. Put that on the back of a shirt.
Yeah,
I like it. So, I mean, if you had a hot tip or a game plan for this year, you think you're going to be, I mean, are you going to be taking time off, or are you going to kind of, I know you kind of try to work your schedule so you can get out and hunt in the mornings every once in a while.
Yeah, I kind of told the boss I probably wouldn't be starting until 7 most mornings, and he was like, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to end up working 45 hours a week anyway, so it really doesn't matter how.
Keep my wife's name out of your mouth. That's a good Will Smith reference. You left a word out there.
Oh, that's hilarious. Left a word out.
Yeah. I think
keep my wife's name out your mouth.
Yeah, and I heard Chris Rock show came back and said, "Well, keep my dick out of your wife's mouth." That would fix the problem. Oh shit!
Oh, man.
I think that's appropriate.
I didn't catch that reference at first. That's pretty freaking.
Yeah, that's funny. Tim Dunnigan. I'll tell you, for old man, he's on top of pop culture. I'll tell you what, that's impressive.
Coming in hot.
Old Will Smith, his culture, his career's over. At least for the short term. Freaking everybody's dropping him. They don't want him.
Really?
What the hell was he thinking? You know,
that was all staged.
I think it was staged too, but
there's no way.
I think it was staged so that there's more attention on the Oscars. That's what I think. But you know, that was a total derailment of his reputation. I mean, what the hell are you thinking?
There's just no way. That was like.
And it's pretty embarrassing that he didn't even stagger Chris Rock. Chris Rock's a skinny dude.
He leaned into it too. He was like, "Oh, here he comes. I'm going to lean into this slap."
Yeah. He probably slapped his hands
behind my back.
Right.
Like if you were worried about getting attacked, you're not going to stand there with your hands behind your back.
No. Old. You're not old. You're not old, Tim. You're not old. You're a young buck. You're still working. My dad's old because he's getting ready to retire. So what else? What do you think? Anything else you want to cover? Thoughts?
I mean, I've gotten to be the last few years. I just try to figure the birds out and not. I mean, I used to call my freaking face off, trying to find birds and trying to call them in, and I've found it better in tactic to figure out what they do and just be there.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the slate call is one of my favorite. We had that kid from Perfect Custom Turkey Calls on last year, and he makes a glass pot call, and you know he'll put whatever picture in it you want, and he makes everything by hand. And I mean, I don't know what it is about that tone of that call, but I've had so many gobblers that were walking the other way, and I can just start chipping and clucking on that thing sharp, and they just turn on a dime. And like that bird I got with my father-in-law last year, he was putting and walking away. I have it on video. I think it's on our YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
The quality's not great, but you can hear a lot of the footage. But he was clucking and putting and walking away because he didn't like something. And I got in on that glass pot call and just started hitting him hard. And he turned on a dime and his head turned white, and he just freaking marched right in from there. So you kind of got to take the temperature.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at that bird that we had on the youth hunt last year. I mean, we overcalled the shit out of that thing. I mean, he was done, you know.
Yeah, but he gave a show, and that was part of the experience for her, you know. Like he had to have gobbled 50 to 100 times. I mean, he was way closer than what we thought he was when we first set up on him. He was like right there. So he knew we were there. I mean, that's why I think he did.
I think he saw movement he didn't like, and he just never broke across.
Yeah, he flew right over to where your portable is, where you shot your big buck this year.
I thought that's where he was roosted.
That is pretty much where he was roosted. But then he crossed the creek bottom there.
Went back the other way.
Mm-hmm.
And then we busted like 30 deer over there and ruined the rest of that.
Yep, that's right. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think it's good to kind of just, you know, if you got a flock that you know is there and you've been working, don't hit them too hard with a call. Kind of try to just be where they're going to be and take their temperature. If you have a bird late in the morning break off that wants to play, I mean, get after them. But in the morning when they're all flocked up, it's hard to pull them away.
So like that's one of the things you don't hear that point made very often. Like you just do not need to overhunt them and overcall them. And I think it's just so true. And you hear that discussion from guys, you know, not guys that are trying to sell elk calls, but guys that are just like good, legit elk killers, is that you just do not need to overcall them. Like figure out where they are, be patient, get yourself in them, around them, and you'll get your opportunity. And if you're hunting, you know, you watch some of these videos, whether it is the guys from Cartel or the Hunting Public or Just Hunt Club, like you watch their videos and it's like action-packed, wide open stuff. But in reality, if you're hunting a 50-acre farm and you know you've got a group of birds on there, don't blow them up on the first day. You know, be patient, work it slowly. Listen, you might not get your shot on opening day, but those birds aren't going to get blown off your property and educated on what you're doing. And, you know, you'll have a fun season. You can play with them for quite a while if you don't overhunt them. So, yeah,
I mean, we worked that flock for like 2 weeks every morning last year.
Yeah.
And it was just, you know, dip in, try to get close. If it don't happen, get out. And, you know, we had him in shooting range several times. The one time he thought it was too far, so he didn't shoot. And then another time he shot and missed. And then I went in the next morning and shot one. And it was just kind of playing different things, coming in different angles. Just, you know, don't hit it all too hard at once. I mean, you can blow them out real easy and shut them up. And it's almost fun to play cat and mouse a little bit too and try to outsmart them.
Yeah, it is. And I've fallen in love. If you are somebody who can hunt those mid mornings, like that's a really fun. I'm finding that that's like a really fun time to hunt, especially if you can figure out those areas where they're going to come out in some of those fields to start kind of just doing what turkeys do, or if they're moving from point A from field to field, get in between them. And that's the setup I had. I just set the blind up in that back food plot of ours last year and ended up leaving it there for most of the season. And just right place, right time, put the decoy out there, sit down. And I actually, you know, with me, I didn't even, like I said, I didn't have to call. I had a hen come in to check out that decoy, and she ended up getting those gobblers, the gobbler and the 4 jakes fired up, and she did all the work for me. So you really, you know, it's tough when you go out there and you're out there at, you know, 4:30 in the morning and you hear them gobbling, and you know you want to start calling right away. And I mean, we've done it. Yeah. You and I have. I know I have. Like you get so excited, you just want to start.
I've done it a ton too. It's just I've kind of turned tide in the last 5 years or so, where I find it more fun to figure out where they are and what they do every morning and kind of just play it till it happens and falls in your lap.
Yep.
I mean, that's also situational. You know, you go after that state land bird where you know the other guys know it's there. You kind of got to get in there and try to get it done, you know?
Yeah. I got a question. I was thinking about this. I'm curious, what do you do when you get one, you shoot it, you cut it up, you process it. What's your favorite way to take care of it? I want to say I've always just soaked them in water, with like a saltwater brine to kind of try to draw some of the blood out and stuff. But what do you do? Because I know, I mean, you shoot a lot of birds and you eat them. So I'm like, what's your favorite way to handle them and process them?
We've mostly done nuggets here in the past couple of years, so I'll typically do just that. I'll try to get all the silver skin off and put them in nugget size right off the bat, and then put them in like a saltwater brine, and then set them out, kind of let them dry off a little bit. And then I'll vacuum seal them into like quantity packages. The one thing that I would like to try is to turn it into burger.
Yeah.
I think turkey burger would be good.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got
if I shoot 2 good ones this year, I might just grind it up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with that. I think you get it, proper, but that's a good idea. I think cutting it up first and then putting it in those little chunks. We made chicken nuggets last year, or turkey nuggets last year too, and deep fried them, and they were delicious. They were outstanding. I've heard people talk about them, and you made them. It's like, holy shit! Like, that's a dense, delicious type, meat. It's not your normal chicken nugget you go get.
Right.
Like, it's a hearty piece of meat that you got. That's basically a chicken nugget, but it's a thick piece of chicken or turkey. So it's pretty good.
I mean, the other thing is I've also in the past cut them in like 1 inch or 2 inch strips, the full breast. I'll just slice it straight across so it's into strips more. And then when you marinate it, let it soak for 3-4 days, and it becomes super tender for when you grill it.
Now, so run through that one more time. Sorry, I got distracted. I saw something Ben wrote, and I want to touch on that. But what'd you just say? How'd you do that?
I'll just clean up the breast real good and put them on a cutting board and just cut them into like 1 or 1.5 inch strips. The width of the breast. And then when you go to marinate them, leave them in there 3-4 days, and they'll break right down real nice. And
okay,
we've had some really good grilled, just regular grilled turkey after letting it marinate like a pheasant breast or something. But
yeah,
a breast whole is almost hard to cook because it's so big.
Yeah, it's big, and then you need to cook it, but you don't want to overcook it. So yeah, it's a good idea. So I'm curious if you've done this, but Ben Williams wrote in and said pulled turkey legs in the crock pot is a must do. I got a couple turkey legs and I just don't know what to do, and I don't want to mess them up. So like, have you done that before? Have you done that?
I got them vacuum sealed in the freezer too from last year, and I just haven't.
Yeah. So I'd like to try that.
Crock pot they fit in, I think, is my problem.
Same here. You almost got to cut the leg bone down a little bit because there's not a lot of meat on that bottom half of the leg bone. So you could kind of cut that, I guess it's from the knee joint, cut that up, maybe 3-4 inches so you can get that whole leg into the crock pot. But I'm curious, Ben, I don't know if you're on bullhorn too right now, but I'd be curious on what you do for like a fluid inside of that crock pot to do that. Dallas says he's done the crock pot and says it comes out good. So yeah, maybe I need to try that. I've tried cooking them on the grill and smoking them, or like slow cooking them. It just, I don't know. I can't. I'm sure that there's a way to do it. I'm not great with stuff like that that's already super dry, and then if you overcook it, it just gets way too dry, and then it's just like not even enjoyable to eat. So that's why it's still sitting in the freezer, because I don't want to screw it up. You work so hard to get those things, and then it's just like we've been working on I cooked an elk roast the other day, still left over from Tard's elk back in 2019, and I cooked that the other day, and we're still working on it. But it's like I don't want to waste those pieces. They're freaking cherished pieces of meat. You just don't go out and get them every fall, so you just kind of want to protect that stuff. But yeah, we'll look into it. If somebody has a recipe, send it over to us, and we'll post it up on our Facebook and Instagram page.
I just did one of the coil Italian link sausage with the cheddar cheese in it. I cooked pork loin last night, and then when I was done, I took that coil and just threw it on the top rack and left it for like 25-30 minutes. And that thing was freaking unbelievable.
Delicious. You liked it?
Oh, yeah. We definitely hit the nail on the head this year with our sausage.
Yeah, the sausage turned out outstanding. I think and I'll tell you what, my stuff, I got to give you a roll of my stuff, because I think adding water and then letting it sit overnight even more made it even better. And then those casings I used, I'm a freaking huge winner. That Ben just sent over a link on the live Facebook stream with a real tree recipe. So we'll have to check that out. I'll post that up on our page after I get this up. But Yeah, something I got to try. I got a couple drumsticks in there, so I'll have to give that a whirl. Maybe it'd be something fun to throw in the crock pot for Saturday and have that Saturday night up at camp with everybody. Are you planning on coming up? Yeah, I'm coming.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably go down when we put Jay down for a nap in the afternoon. I'll probably come down.
Okay.
Spend the afternoon there.
Word.
In the evening.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I'll probably head down. I don't know. I'll probably do the same. Probably mid-afternoon. I'll head down and spend the evening down there and hang out with everybody and figure out what the heck I want to do on Sunday.
I think that Pentagon's big enough. You could come with me and Mike if you wanted to.
No, I could. But I know I'm not going to get a lot of days of turkey hunt this year, so I kind of want to like get out and. I mean, not that you can't have magic happen over there. You know, you could have.
I could also see Mike being done by 8 o'clock in the morning and me going somewhere else and finding somewhere else to go run for a while.
Right. No, I'll probably hunt camp because it'll probably be the only day I'll hunt camp all year, realistically. The following 2 weekends, Sarah's working. We got Mother's Day, Kate's birthday. Yeah, it's pretty much Father's Day. I mean, I help make her a mother, so it's my day too.
Right.
But we've got just stuff going on like every weekend. And then the third weekend of the month there's a T-ball. That's our one Saturday that we've got T-ball. And then that's the same day as the National Deer Association raffle event down in Wellsville, which totally screws up all of our ideas about going down there the night before and turkey hunting that day.
That
May 21st, right?
21st, yeah.
So May 21st, we have a game at 10:30. Billy does. I'm coaching. So we've got a game at 10:30, and then I'll probably get done with the game, and then I'll probably try to go down to Wellsville from there. I'd love to do that. I'll see if it happens or not, but I'm pretty bummed because I'm fired up to go to that event.
What's their event? Is that the 21st or 22nd?
It's the 21st, Saturday the 21st. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to see how my weekends play out because we got to figure out with Uncle Chris and Uncle Tim when we're doing our up north weekend.
Right.
Typically, I go the first weekend, which would be the 7th, and then I typically go again one more time. But they don't like to do the man weekend on Mother's Day weekend.
Right.
And I guess Martha's got some family coming in from Albany for some alumni Geneseo weekend or something.
Okay.
So she wants to stay home that weekend. So I'm thinking I'm not going the 7th. I'm thinking I might go up the 14th. Yeah. But also we'll see what they're doing on the 21st because that's typically our weekend up there with all the guys. So
right. Yeah, that's probably why you weren't with me last year going down to that.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
I remember you guys calling me and I was standing in the kitchen at my in-laws.
Yeah, just not enough. In
between feeding them.
Yeah, I called you. I was with Jonas, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, we'll see. So tomorrow night, kind of rounding this discussion out, tomorrow night, Dallas and I are heading down to, it's the third of the 5 seminars that Sean is putting on there. Sean Burdick's putting on with the Upper Genesee River branch of the Deer Association. And looking forward to that. That should be a fun time.
What time is that?
It's at 6:30. They're doing they got a DEC biologist coming in to talk about nutrition, deer nutrition and habitat, which should be interesting to hear from their perspective. And then they've got a company, local like grain company that sells seed and things like that. That's going to do a presentation. And they've got they're also going to have anybody from that chapter who ordered their soybeans or corn. They're going to have that shipment actually came in tonight. I saw a post on their Instagram page. So anybody who has seed that ordered it, you can. So Dallas and we ordered a few bags of corn. So we're going to be able to grab those tomorrow when we're down there. But I went to the last one and it was outstanding. It was a great turnout, and I'm big fan of what Sean's doing down there. So whatever I can do to go support him in that, and it's educational too. I mean, it's you're not really getting that information anywhere else. So it's
too bad they're not doing it at like 3:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, you could just make it part of your work day, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going through Portville, Wellsville tomorrow.
Are you? That's too bad.
Yep.
Too bad. Too sad.
Yep.
So the other thing, we haven't really talked about it on here. I haven't done anything on the podcast, I don't think, about it. The day of our beer event or our Shedfest event, we launched our next charity raffle, which is we're calling it the Pertinier Life Ring Raffle, and we're raffling off it's a 4-person 6-hour walleye charter trip on Lake Erie is the grand prize, and then the second prize is actually going to be just a fishing like gear set. So Jim, the captain of Ultimate Adventure Sport Fishing, he's donating a whole bunch of rods and reels and tackle equipment is going to be that second prize. But what we're doing is we're trying, the Southtown Walleyes is who we're raising this money for. They're trying to they're working with the Buffalo City Council to put the goal to start, I believe, is 50 of these life rings along the Niagara River and Buffalo River. Right now there's no life preservers or emergency equipment along any of those shores right now, and like where there's a lot of popular like shore fishing that goes on. And a couple of years ago, there was a couple of young kids that died. One kid fell into the river, the Niagara River, and his buddy jumped in to try to save him, and they both died. So there's been a big push in the community to try to raise money, but these life rings are not cheap. They're $500 a piece cost. So pretty excited to. I reached out. I was very interested in trying to work, and I think it's an awesome cause because it's something that not only affects people that are fishing from shore, but just the general population in Buffalo. It's an awesome thing to be involved with. So I had reached out to the group there, and they were very welcoming. Jim immediately called me and offered to do that charter as a raffle item. So we've got that raffle is now up and running. We're selling 200 tickets total. They're $20 a piece. We're going to do the drawing. What doesn't matter if it sells out or not. We're going to do the drawing. They're doing a picnic on, I believe it's July 10th. The Southtown Walleyes is. They've got a picnic going on out there at wherever their main clubhouse is. As we get closer, we'll have more information on that if anybody wants to attend it. But we're going to draw it then. So $20 for a raffle ticket. Only 200 entries sold. So pretty decent odds. And if we sell all 200 tickets, we'll be able to pay in full for 3 life rings. So that's pretty awesome. Once I'm done paying for what I need to pay Jim for the charter trip, but pretty awesome. And we've got those. I got it up on the website. So if it's easier for you to go through the website to do that, if you're not necessarily local, like your father-in-law Jim bought $100 worth of raffle tickets. So what I did was I processed that and I sent him an email with the ticket numbers so he knows. That's all set and what his numbers are. But jump on. We're gonna sell these things till they're gone. If you're local, you can reach out to me, and we can meet up, and I can exchange a ticket with you and take cash, whatever. And 100% of the proceeds. I mean, all I'm doing is paying for the trip, and then once that's paid for, you are all expenses paid. You'll have to tip, but that's a $1,000 value to have a 6-hour trip on Lake Erie out of Sunset Bay for walleye. So awesome opportunity. Winner picks the date. It's not like you got to use it this year. If it doesn't work out, you can do it next year sometime. You pick the time that works best for you and your group. So pretty cool opportunity, and very excited to be doing that. So that's that.
Feed them.
I'm pretty excited about it. Walleye opens up this weekend too, May 1st. I was hoping to maybe have
get out there.
I was thinking about busting the boat out, but not going to happen. There's still snow on the ground right now, so I'm not going to be getting the boat out of the barn anytime soon. We'll probably worry about that after turkey season gets going.
It was actually the first gobble I heard this morning. I went outside to yell at the dog to get inside, and there was a bird standing on the back hill gobbling.
No shit. That's funny.
Yeah.
Standing or sitting in a tree?
I think he was on the ground already. It was like 6:50. No, had to have been right around 6 because I left at like 6:05.
Yeah.
So it was right about 6 o'clock.
He was down. He was down and talking.
Yeah.
Nice.
So hopefully he keeps doing that.
Hopefully he'll be in trouble.
Might do the moonwalk right out the back fence in the morning, right back in.
Yeah. Yeah, right out there. Night.
Don't mind me. I'll just take my little 410 down there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That 410 is freaking sweet.
What'd you buy? Did you buy a Stevens or?
No, it's a Henry.
Henry?
Yeah.
Oh, you showed me that when we were over there.
Everything about that gun is so smooth.
Yeah.
That's just good quality shit. And it's like shooting a freaking pellet gun.
There's like no kick or nothing, or
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
and that's TSS, right?
No, I gotta find some TSS, but I shot the Winchester like turkey load out of it, and I'm fairly confident at 30 yards you'd roll them right over.
Nice.
But I mean, 20 yards and in is absolutely no doubt. But I think TSS would make it a 40-yard gun. I wouldn't shoot much over 25 probably.
Yeah.
The way it's set up now, but it's dialed in.
Yep. Well, I know we got the old Snood Buster. What's his name? Christ. Noble.
I know.
Andrew Noble.
Oh, yeah.
He's been freaking dusting them. I've been watching him on Facebook and Instagram, and he's just lighting them up. So, yeah, it's about that time, Big Jim. We'll have to start.
I'll be joining that club Sunday morning.
Yeah, no, we'll do a Facebook Live and ask, not Facebook Live, but a Facebook message wondering what happened. Did I do something wrong? Did I break it? Yeah. Yeah.
It was right over there.
Yeah, it was right over there, and then all of a sudden, like, here it is. Oh my God.
Those were pretty classic videos going back and forth last year.
Yeah, they were. They were awesome. So, all right. Yeah, I'm good luck to everybody going out this weekend. Be safe. Know your target. Don't be just shooting into the bushes and moving stuff. That's stupid. That's how people get killed. I think there was only a couple incidents last year. There was that person that got shot out in Niagara County up Lockport way, I think. So
a lot of brush up there.
A lot of brush. Be smart. Shouldn't be a lot of foliage on by Sunday, so should be good. So,
yeah, think I'm gonna go to camp, 1:00 on Saturday and just start target shooting until it gets dark out.
That'd be real nice. Why don't you go right up on top of the South Hill and do that for us?
Dad said Uncle Mike was up there and there wasn't a single scratching up there.
Really? Interesting.
But the only turkey sign was on our property.
Huh. Well, that makes sense because we normally don't see them there, and they're there. So it's all that freaking green food you got for them, Jim.
It's all that yum yum.
Out that upper road looks real good right now.
I was actually talking to Growing Deer TV today.
Really?
Yeah, because I've been watching all their videos and I'm just not totally sure on how to switch over to getting the multi-species blends going.
Mm-hmm.
And they work with green cover seed.
Yeah, that's what we've been using.
Yeah, so I wanted to get the summer blend going.
Yep.
So I messaged them and asked for what they would do in our situation. And they said if there's a lot of ground cover, they would probably spray it just to kill it off and then broadcast right over it.
Yep.
So I was talking to Dad today. I think we're going to do that on the bull meadow. I don't want to get crazy on the middle meadow because we still got to pull all those logs out of there. We're looking at extending that food plot, probably doubling the size of it.
Oh, really?
So I think right now I want
to the north or
south.
Really?
Yeah, so above the logging road all the way to the creek.
Cool.
Uncle Mike clear cut that this year.
Oh, sweet. That's awesome.
So we got to get it cleaned up, and then we were talking about maybe having like Corey come over with his dozer and just pushing everything back.
Nice.
But that's not going to be ready for right now. And I also don't want to take the time to plant stuff where trees are going to be being dragged through and a bulldozer is going to be coming in. So
yeah.
And then the cabin plot, I don't really want to focus on that too much because I don't want the deer feeding right next to the cabin for the most part. I think that was one of our problems last year is that was our best food plot and that's where the deer were hanging out.
Yep.
So I think we're going to start on the bull meadow and see if we can get this method rolling. And then I saw Chad from Redneck Rising's got a big crimper, the 3-point hitch one. I was thinking about seeing if we could rent that from him for a weekend in the fall for the fall planting.
Yeah.
But I got to get one of these multi-species blends going that we can crimp over for a fall planting. So Growing Deer TV had a video here in the spring a little bit ago that was about making sure you're planting things that will feed 4 seasons of the year. So that's kind of what got me kicked into wanting to move on from the clover. So I'm going to try to do some more stuff this year and see how it works out.
Yeah.
But it was cool to see that they replied and they sent a video that was related directly to what I was talking about. And
cool. Yeah, that's exactly what Dallas is working on at the farm. And that mix, that summer blend is exactly what Dallas used. that was unbelievable. I mean, it was
Got a whole bunch of good shit in it.
It was 8 feet tall, if not a little bit taller, and it was just a jungle mess of stuff. And it's amazing. We didn't do anything. We just left it stand through the winter. He drove through it with the tractor a few times just to kind of knock it down a little bit, but didn't cut it or nothing. He just kind of like knocked it down, and he broadcasted over it, and it's green in there right now with the stuff that he broadcasted for the winter to come up in the spring. So.
Well, I
that's
think
exciting.
The idea of the summer fall blend is like you do this summer one to get everything growing and start feeding things, and then in the fall for your fall planting, you crimp it over, create like that soil bed or weed mat for the new stuff to grow in, and then that fall blend will have stuff that will pop again in the spring, to feed them right off the bat when everything starts to green up, and then you'll do the summer blend again.
Yep.
To rebuild it, but just kind of a interesting thing to get into to try to be doing it without tilling.
Yeah, it'll work. That's exciting.
And I don't necessarily want to spray, but I think that's the way to go to start it up because we got a lot of ground cover. So
Dallas says crimp for summer blend.
Yeah, but we don't have anything to crimp is my problem.
Right.
We need to get that process started.
Yeah.
So we're straight clover right now, and they said if the clover's too thick, then it's not going to give the seed enough sunlight to take off.
Right.
So they said just hit it with a spray and then get back in there, 7 days later and right before a good rain and just broadcast heavy. So.
Well, Uncle Dallas has been working in the field for the last 45 days. Deer farm. You can't deer farm if you're not doing it 365 days a year. So. He's
amen to that.
Amen to that. And Ben, I saw that you
he's trying to sell his shit now.
Yeah, Ben. All right. What do you got? Ben, call back in. Call back in because I didn't
DM me.
I know, I see that. I see he says I'll sell you a roller crimper. Call in, Ben.
Is Ben on?
Yeah, well he tried calling in originally and then I didn't answer because we were talking.
That's rude.
It is rude.
You should have just cut me off. I was just babbling.
Well, that's what you do. That's what we both do.
I've been drinking tequila.
I know. Yeah. Remember 8 minutes ago when I tried to wrap the conversation up and now we're on to a whole nother topic? Remember that?
That's what happens here at Log Talk.
It is what happens. It's what we do. Ben might not call in. I don't know if he's going to call in. Oh, here he comes.
He's probably offended.
We're promoting you. Hi, Benjamin.
What's going on, guys?
Not much. What do you got to sell us? Something out of the bushes?
Oh yeah, it's high quality.
Wayne County bushes.
I got that roller crimper that I bought from John Teeter last year. If you want it,
It's a piece of junk. You don't want it anymore.
No, I just spraying's quicker, easier for me. I don't know. It just fits my equipment and my spots a lot better now that I got the big spray rig for the tractor and stuff now.
So was that one of those crimpers that John has somebody that makes them for him, or was that one that John had that you bought off of John that he was using?
So that was his, I guess his Gen 1 or whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
The second one, he didn't have that there when I bought this one from him to look at it. He talked about some ways they improved it and stuff like that. I mean, it's a good roller. It'll do the job. I would say you're going to have to go over it more than once.
Yeah.
That's kind of the reason why I, not going to stay with using that crimper. And if you guys don't want it, I'll be listing it for sale somewhere else. But
I would say we'd be interested. No, I would say we'd be interested.
All of our shit is under a half an acre, so most of our food plots. So I mean, to drive around it twice ain't nothing. But have to shoot me a message and send me some pictures, and we'll see.
Yeah.
Is that a 3-point, or can you tow it behind a side by side, or what is it?
So it's just a tow behind model.
Okay.
But you could on the frame of it, rig over like a rollover type style for like the pull behind cultipackers, that you see Packer Max has. You could probably build a wheel kit for it pretty quickly and easy.
Okay.
With like a pullover design.
Okay. Yeah. We'll touch base offline and negotiate pricing, but I think Uncle Dallas, I know we're looking hard for one, and Jim, honestly, for what we're all doing, I mean, if we have a trailer that we could haul it on, it would make sense just to have something we could share and use between places. You know, we're doing stuff in both our camp and at the farm, so it'd be silly to have multiple pieces of equipment.
Yeah, and the nice thing with that one is, I mean, you're going to need a 4-wheel drive, 500cc machine, but you could even pull that one with a wheeler. It's still a manageable size that, don't have to have like a 60-horse tractor to pull it or something crazy either.
Nice.
Which is nice.
Yeah, I like that.
Do you know if Corey's got one of the 3.1?
I don't know right off. I know he's got a couple drills. I don't know if he's got a roller crimper or not.
Corey's got a drill?
That'd be a question for him. Yeah, Corey's got, I think, 2 drills.
Oh, we need to talk to him about that, Jim.
I'd be afraid to use somebody else's drill on our property with them freaking rocky food plots.
Yeah.
Yeah, rocks and drills don't mix. They
No.
beat the snot out of them.
That would worry me a little bit.
Yep.
Just lay it on heavy.
Yep. But yeah, and then don't leave your turkey legs on the carcass, dude. And if you do, you can send them my way. Believe me, or send me the ones out of your freezer. I don't care.
No, I'll eat them. I'm gonna.
What's your address?
We're in Clifton. You can send them right to me.
Yeah,
but
you drive right through the area, Jim. I'll just give you his address. You can drop him in his mailbox.
All right.
Yeah, don't shoot my turkey, damn it.
I'll make sure it's 85 degrees.
Tom.
So
you practice your calling on that thing?
You want to get really good, you come spend an afternoon with a couple domestic birds and just talk turkey to the birds. It's crazy how much now having birds and then like watching, like you were saying, the cartels videos on some of those fine, like detailed, little clucks and purrs. They're not just out there yelp, 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 and there's so many clicks and pops and just weird little things that you can do really well with a mouth call, that you only hear with being that close to birds.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting, especially watching like cartels videos. Like they're not calling much; they're just sweet talking.
Yeah,
it's
ladies,
but I don't know. It's really weird, when you're that close to birds, and normally you don't hear that. You hear them yelping, you hear them gobbling. That's what you hear because that's what's really loud and vocal. But their hearing is so good. How many times have you called a tom, and you can barely hear him gobble, but he comes right to where you called.
Yeah, it's wild.
That's insane.
Literally to the spot. So, and you hear a lot of that with Tyler's, high quality audio he's got in his videos, like those clicks and pops and those really, really fine purrs that you can get, with like a mouth call and stuff like that. That are just that's what kills birds.
Yeah. Yep. That footage he gets, man, and he lets those birds get in there and beat the living snot out of the decoys. And if it was any regular old hunter, you'd be freaking shooting the second that thing even gets within 20
happened
feet.
To me several times last year. I dumped birds right as they were about to hit the decoy because I was just like, "Oh, there's my opportunity." And then I'm like, afterwards, I'm like, "Man, I should have let him beat that thing up for a little bit."
Yep.
The bird I shot at the end of the season, there was 3 jakes, and they came in and just beat the hell out of my decoy. And it was like 5 minutes later, I'm like, they're still going at it. And I'm like, you know what? Let's fill the last tag right now.
Yeah, let's finish her.
But it was fun to watch them do it. And with the big longbeards running in, we're not that experienced with that style of hunting. So it's like as soon as they're shootable, they're getting dropped. But it's fun to watch these videos, and they got these birds just freaking pounding the decoys, and they just let it go.
Yep. It's impressive. Well, I'll hit you up, Ben, and I appreciate your input there. I appreciate the recipe for them turkey legs, and I wish you the best of luck this weekend, man.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys too. I think I'm going to be out with my dad first thing in the morning, and then maybe second shift a bird with a buddy of mine and do some calling for him and stuff. I think he's got to work Sunday morning or something.
Nice.
So we'll try to catch up with him late morning.
Sweet. Hope you
we'll see.
Hope you bust one in the face.
Yeah, I just like calling with him and playing with him. I don't need to shoot him anymore.
Yeah.
I've killed a few birds, and I'd rather see other people kill birds.
It is a lot of fun to watch other people kill birds.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting to
I get just as much enjoyment out of it.
Yep. Yep. It's getting to the same point with everything.
Well, thanks for having me on, and take care. Shoot straight.
Fade
Be
'em.
safe.
Yep.
Fade.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Big Jim. Let's wrap her. It's good.
Yeah.
Good chat. Thanks for jumping on. Good luck
Sure.
out there, everybody, and shoot straight. Keep fading them.
Feed them.
Fade 'em. Hang up the phone. You hang up.
You hang it up.
You shut it off.